Hey guys, I'm sure you all have seen some of this supposed leaked information. Before I said it was real or fake, I want to do some research. And this comes out on Reddit by Fallout Dweller 2018. He claims to have written down some stuff on Black Ops 4 Reddit page, and then his shit got taken down. He said he was a quality assurance tester for multiplayer or whatever at Treyarch, and he quit 2 weeks ago. Um, and somehow, in working at Treyarch, he found a lot of information about the upcoming game at Infinity Ward. Now, this is a lot of detailed information, and for me, I wouldn't be able to memorize all this unless I wrote it down. So unless he's sitting in there writing down all of his rumors, I don't know how he's getting all this stuff off the top of his head, unless he's making it up, and that's what I felt honestly. But before I say he was making it up, I just wanted to give it an honest look. He claims his name is Modern Warfare 4 and that Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 remastered campaigns will come out, but the multiplayers will come out throughout the year. If you remember, same thing happened with Modern Warfare Remastered. They released the campaign early, and then they released the multiplayer later on with the game release. He says they don't want 3 different multiplayers at once. Then he talks about supply drops and the map passes. Then he claims that Raven is designing part of the multiplayer with the war mode. He says specialists will be more like Modern Warfare 3. He says no battle royale mode, even though apparently they were talking about it. Says campaign takes place before Modern Warfare 2 storyline. Talks about ways to unlock things in multiplayer. Says there's a survival-based mode, but that's the new co-op mode. It's survival-based, and it's more like battle royale, but a survival mode. So you're on a giant map with bots, I'm guessing. So basically Spec Ops, but on a really grand scale because there's objectives and things involved. And supposedly Raven is also working on that. Says the last thing he heard about that was later last year, so things could have changed a lot by then. Sorry, earlier last year. Then he talks about game modes. Then he says unlocking things will be more like challenge-based, kind of like, I guess, Modern Warfare 2. Says Tactical Nuke is returning. Campaign will be 7 to 8 hours long on normal difficulty. And the pro perk system will return. Look, a lot of this stuff sounds good. And if all this stuff was true, it would really sound like that they are listening to the fans. Because there's a lot of stuff that the fans want. I feel like some of the stuff, though, that he talks about is contradictory. But there are some details that people who are faking fail to even mention, like how many hours the campaign would be on average with normal difficulty. That is a detail most fakers don't use. So they got me interested, but I'm still skeptical. So then I look at his claim of him posting something and insinuating that it was, or telling us that it was deleted, kind of insinuating it had some weight to it or some truth in the Black Ops 4 Reddit. But as you can see here, he was actually taken down off of the Reddit thread by the guy who was in charge of the Reddit thread, basically saying that he cannot prove anything that he's saying. He cannot provide proof that he was a QA tester. So until he can do that, I mean, he can prove it to us, he can message us, whatever. But until that happens, this thread is going to be pretty much terminated. Right here, he also goes over release dates for Black Ops 4 material. He also goes over the release date for Modern Warfare 4, supposedly. The problem with that is even the developers don't know at this point when the official release date will be. They usually don't choose that until they get a little bit closer. But I mean, hey, playing devil's advocate, things might have changed, and they could possibly have the date by now. He says the reveal will happen in April, and a multiplayer reveal close to June and July. But there will not be anything at E3 because all the things will be revealed. I personally find that highly unlikely with how desperate Activision has become with trying to reach out to players and investors. I think they're going to invest as much as they possibly can in advertising as much as they possibly can for the future game, and that includes E3. I also want to point out that he says he knew the exact date for the reveal for the multiplayer, and then just a few comments later he claims he doesn't know that it's in between June and July. He also claims that they want to have 2 different betas. I don't know if what he means by that because technically we've had two different betas every time. We have a beta open and closed, and then we have a second beta open, and people just see it as one long beta with an intermediate pause for updates. So I don't know if he means that, but if he does, he's acting like it's something new that we've never seen before, which is kind of weird. And here on the Black Ops 4 Reddit, he's trying to really sell that he's the real deal, and he claims, oh, we can't give out too much information. He doesn't want to give out too much detailed information. He's like, just trust me, I'm the real deal. I was a QA tester. They treated us like crap, all this stuff. And he says, I can't answer too many questions about important information. If you want, you can private message me and I can prove to you. I can give you information in private that proves I am who I say I am, but I'm not going to release too much detailed information because, I could get in trouble. And then he goes right ahead and starts releasing detailed information. And look, his story does sound legit because it's the same story every QA tester who works at Treyarch has. Apparently at Treyarch, if you look up all the reviews, the jobs reviews of people who've worked there as a tester, you get treated like dog shit. You're the bottom of the totem pole, and they make sure you know that 24/7. But even I could have done my research and found out how they're treated, and I could have claimed I was the same thing. So, I decided, well, if he says that he'll private message people to give proof, then I might as well private message him. I private messaged him like twice, and I asked him, hey man, if you are real, I want to help you out. Just, private message me back, give me whatever, info, even if it's not too revealing, just to prove you are who you say you are. I'm just trying to help you out. I don't want, people to think that you're lying if you're not, in fact, lying. I want the truth. He didn't message me back, and then he proceeded to delete his profile. So he has a pretty convincing story that pretty much copies everybody else's story who has the job that he claims to have had. And then he tells people, private message me and I'll prove who I am. So they private message him and then he deletes his profile. Not to mention, it sounds like he's grasping some of these ideas and stretching them from the conference call that happened, one day earlier? If he really wanted to prove who he was, he could have, released the same risky information a day before the conference call. Because it sounds to me he just looked up reviews on what it is to be in that job and claimed that they treated him the same way. And then he took the information from the conference call, tried to stretch as much as he could out of it to get some attention. And then when people started calling him out on it, and then he got scared and tried to give a solution to prove himself, and so people acted on that solution. He got scared, didn't know what to do, and he deleted his profile. That is what it's sounding like to me. They also said that they would have an open an expanding world in their multiplayer in the conference call. And they just said that there would be a fun co-op experience, but he said that the open world would actually be in the co-op, which is not what Activision themselves said about their Call of Duty. I'm going to trust Activision's word over some guy we don't know claiming to have a leak. Also, if you look at the reviews of people who work at Treyarch as testers, they are kept completely in the dark. They don't know jack shit about what they are working on. They don't know any details about the games they are working on for Treyarch themselves, let alone for games by a completely different company that just happens to also make Call of Duties. And let's say he was a tester. He claims in the very beginning this is just stuff he heard from other testers. Rumors from other testers. Okay, if all testers are kept in the dark, it doesn't matter that he heard it from a different tester. That tester is also kept in the dark and probably doesn't know jack shit. It's probably just rumored bullshit they make up on their free time to have fun, to stay entertained. But again, that's keeping in mind if he even was a tester, which I have my doubts. So the conclusion is, whether he was a tester or not, this information is 99% bullshit. This is probably all just a big lie to get attention. He offered to prove himself. People acted on that offer. He got scared and deleted his profile. Do not listen to this. This is not a real leak. I am sorry. Look, we will get real hints. We will get real leaks soon enough. And when those come out, I will cover them and I will dig deeper to see if there's anything else there. But until that happens, what we got right now is fake, you guys. Sorry. Please keep the conversation going. If you find anything real or legit, please comment, send me messages, and I will catch you guys next time.